Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, YouTubers. Jerry Dime with How to Get Out of Babylon. And this is going to be a lesson on why you want to buy the best, forget the rest. I'll start by telling a brief story. About 40 years ago in Denver, I went to a sportsman show, and I fell in love with two things there. Teepees and this stove from Cylinder Stoves. You can see it, I've showed it before. I've got it completely shut off. This is the damper. And if I pop the lower damper open, in a short amount of time I'll be sweating, and I don't want to do that. And you'll hear roaring and all that. So, it's a cylindrical stove, and the sides are cylindrical. The belly is cylindrical. This is why you want to buy good stuff that's done right, built right. This is a stainless steel tank that the welds are done with the correct wire. Another company sells a copy of it. Okay. Get them both on at the same time. Another company sells a copy of it. The guy told me he had it, and it's rusting. Where it's welded, the corners are rusting, the edges. The thing cleaned up beautifully. This was almost black from, it was the one that was behind the stove on the far side, and I'm kind of glad I did. I didn't know that it was, turn this off. I didn't know it had water in it. So I went to get it down, and bent over the stove. The stove wasn't running, but I knew I was going to fire the stove up that night, so I went to lower it down, and I found out, oops, it's about half full of water. Still is. Got some calcium buildup, mostly on the inside because it's cooked on there. In Kansas, I was able to do carpet cleaning in the room we lived in. The home ec room had a stove and refrigerator there for home economics, teaching home economics at the abandoned schoolhouse. So anyway, we that's where we lived, and we had carpet in there, some rug, wool rug. So I was able to keep up with it. 5 gallons on this side, 5 gallons on the other side. Blazing hot water non-stop for a couple, 3 hours. So anyway, that's the cylinder stove. Now they made a small one. They used to make 3 models, and the little one was, I think, called the Eagle. The middle one was the Hunter, and then this one was the Outfitter. Well, I think they probably stopped doing the Eagle because they didn't sell very many of them. We bought one. I got it supposedly for my daughter, but I haven't seen it for decades. But anyway, they now make one called the Yukon, and it's bigger than this, which is awesome. So there it is again, and improvise. These are sawed-off blocks from a sawmill nearby that were, where they're ripping railroad ties, and they're $20 a truckload. And Bill's not burning, like I said, anymore this winter, so I'm drying these off. This is a wood rack that goes next to your stove, but hey, it keeps the wood about a good 5 inches above the surface of the stove. And that's my wood drying operation. That looks pretty good there. And if I leave it on there a long time, and I try to put longer blocks on the bottom and bigger blocks on the bottom, so that there's no question of igniting them. But if I left the smaller stuff on there, and it could heat up, and eventually it would light up, but it would take a day or two. So that's not going to happen. So anyway, yeah, I'm cleaning up little by little, and looking good. See where the stove used to go out, that's where the damper was. Right there. Still is, same piece of pipe and everything. But it used to go up only maybe 18 inches and then out. So you had an elbow here slowing the gases down. An elbow outside slowing the gases down. It's getting cold the second it goes outside. So you're wasting a good 4 feet or so of heat, because these pipes get like 600 degrees, You can see a little bit of a leak in creosote dripping, but nothing, you know, no big deal. And so you're losing a lot of heat doing that. It was losing massive amounts of heat. It ran well, but anyway, it's a whole lot better now. I would prefer the damper be up higher, and that way it would hold even more heat before it goes out, but oh well. I could change that someday. Maybe I will. Let's see what we're looking like in here. Now, I'm not sure it's burning hot enough and enough coals right now, so I'm going to open the other damper and let it get going a little bit. But I could probably, you know, like I said, one time I jerked this open, smoke came out and got sucked right back in. Very little tiny bit coming out, but anyway, you can see how there's not, I can't get that too close. There's a good 6 inches of grate there before the coals start. Everything out here is completely ash, pretty much. It's a pretty fine mesh green. You can't see it, but I'll show it some other time. But I've got the grate that came with the stove, some diamond grate, expanded metal grate. Can you see my finger? I can't see it. There. And then stainless steel, and then a plate with 1/2-inch holes in it, just to protect the stainless steel screen. So there you go. Now, why it's 2 colors, heat, the difference that the thing is registering. Huh, that's interesting. One's just hotter. I don't know. Okay, the phone's going to shut off if I keep doing that. So, all right, this is Jerry Diamond. If you're listening to this, you're the Remnant. Think outside the box. Survive, live, get here, help. Bye. Pasta lasagna. Hasta la vista, baby.